Hello everyone, ArrisBC here for Decks and Damage, and today we're going to be talking about Amazon Game Studios' action-based MMO, New World. And very specifically, what to do when you do that thing you do so well, and that's hit level 60. So, in this video, we're going to talk about that, and exactly what you want to start focusing on as soon as you hit level 60. So strap yourselves in, because here we go! So you're a fresh level 60. Congratulations, welcome to the party. But what now? What to do? Well, the thing about New World is, there is a myriad of content at level 60. Even, heck, I would argue that the bulk of the content in the game is at level 60. But what do you do? How can you get your feet wet and step into that content? We're going to be detailing that in this video. So the first concept we're going to tackle in this video is weapon mastery. Have you hit level 20 on both your main and secondary weapons? Do you want to start fresh with your spec? I mean, I know for me, I started as a tank leveling up, but then when I hit level 60, it felt like I was more needed as a healer. And frankly, my life staff and void gauntlet were level 1. But the nice thing about hitting level 60 is there's no more diminishing returns on mastery XP. So what's going to be the best way to go about leveling your mastery on a weapon? Now, you don't want to jump into level 60 content with a weapon that has no levels on it whatsoever, because you're going to be really underpowered. However, you can do two different things here. You can actually use your main weapon that you used leveling up and then switch to that secondary weapon to get a little bit of XP as you're doing that content. Basically just in the middle of battles, pull it out and get the XP for it. Or you can go to a mastery XP farm area, which is essentially going to be any leveling area that you like to leveling up, where you can grab large groups of monsters and kill them in bulk. As detailed in the video you're watching right now, this is one of my favorite places to do this. It's called Flatfish Fishery down in the Cutlass Keys area. Not only can you group up a lot of low-level mobs, but you can get about 480 to 555 weapon mastery per pull, and the mobs respawn in about a minute and a half. They also have a chance of dropping juniper berry bags. You can get 3 of these per day, and they actually have a chance of giving you diamond gypsum, which we will talk about a little bit when we move into our next topic. But Aris, what weapon should we be using? What should we be leveling up? Well, the answer to that is whatever you want. The thing about games like this is you should be able to play them the way you want to play them. However, if you want to be the best there ever was, whether it be a tank, ranged, melee DPS, or a healer, we will be detailing the best current builds in the game in an upcoming video in the series. The next concept we're going to talk about is expertise. Now, this is going to be the bulk of what you're going to be doing in endgame in terms of getting your gear score higher. It's going to be a new concept to 60, and when you open your character tab, you'll be able to tell that there are going to be purple numbers next to each equipped item slot. As a fresh level 60, all of your expertise levels on every gear type is going to start off at 500. Essentially what that means is that the average gear that you can get from chests, drops, expeditions, and otherwise is going to be around an average level gear score of 500. Now, how does one increase expertise, you may ask? Well, there are 2 main methods of doing so. The first method of doing so is by simply getting drops. Now, you are locked into an average gear score level with your expertise, but there is a small chance that you can get a drop either from a chest or enemies or out of caches that is just above that. And when you receive that item, it will raise your expertise level into that average level. And this is where I'd recommend picking up a secondary set of gear that has the luck perk on it, because that's going to increase your chance of getting drops from enemies and chests. And if you happen to get an epic one with a gem slot, you can also slot pearls in there for increased luck. Now, in this portion of the video, I'm participating in what's called a chest farm group. Essentially, we grouped up and we are running through the highest level areas to hit as many chests as possible in order to increase our expertise as quickly as possible. However, this method is a little bit random. Luckily for you, there is another way of raising expertise that is much more targeted, and that's referred to as gypsum casts. As you were getting ready to hit 60, you were probably noticing these big blue furnaces in some of the high-level outposts like Ebonscale or even up in Eden Grove. These are called gypsum kilns, where you can use gypsum that you obtain through endgame content to create casts that are very specific to raising expertise levels on certain equipment types. There are 8 different types of gypsum that you can obtain in the game, and they're done by completing different activities throughout the day. day, and you can only get so many per activity as well, but you need a full day's worth to turn them into a gypsum cast. There's obsidian, sapphire, ruby, emerald, citrine, amethyst, topaz, and diamond. We'll also be going into more detail on how to obtain each one and the best way to do so in a future video in the series. Additionally, now that you're level 60, you kind of want to think about where you want to focus your energy when it comes to crafting and gathering. There are two schools of thought on this. One, do what benefits you the most. But if you run with a group of players that you're really solid with, kind of ask around, see what's needed. Having leveled crafting and gathering under your belt is hugely beneficial, especially if you're trying to save up some coin for a big item, big purchase, and or just general upkeep. Those are going to be two very broad topics though, and there's a lot of detail and a lot of ways to get the most out of both of those. So those will be in separate videos as well, but I'm very excited to talk about both topics. The final thing you want to be aware of right when you hit level 60 is where you're at in your current story missions. You want to try to finish those out as quickly as possible and get your Azoth staff level 5. This is going to help you out when you're doing high level expeditions, as well as any corruption portals you're going to be doing, because you can get gypsum from both of those, also increasing your expertise and pushing yourself up to the highest level of content you possibly can. Now, as mentioned at the beginning of this video, there is a ton of content to be had at level 60. Not only can you do outpost rushes, which are 20 versus 20 PvP matches with great rewards to be had, but then also the higher your gear score gets, the more effective and more useful you'll be in wars when you want to have your company and or just help your faction take over a territory. Not to mention mutated expeditions and arena fights, which are very challenging, very fun content, where the higher your gear score gets, the more effective you can be and the greater rewards you can obtain. And this has once again been Aerospecie from Dex and Damage. I hope this video gave you an idea of what to look at when you hit level 60, and we're going to be digging deeper into the gritty details of how to optimize and be as efficient as possible in every aspect of the game moving forward in the videos in this series. So, from all of us here at Dex and Damage, we hope to see you someday down the line.